Hey guys, potential shift here. It is Monday, July 13th, 9:30 a.m. Just seeing if it's possible to grind out a living day trading. Actually showing the trades, not just talking about them. All right. Going to get a little analysis, a few tips here and there, but again, going to earn it by actually showing the trades that I'm doing. All right. It is 9:29 a.m. The opening bell is about to ring. It looks like we are going to open down only 2 to 3 points on SPY, but significantly more on QQQ. Yeah, we're going to open down 7 to 8 points on QQQ. All right. So, seeing a little disconnect here right now between tech and the broader market. So, a little odd, but we saw this pattern at the end of last week also. So, it's not exactly brand new. It's not unusual. But, what to make of it? It's certainly not bullish. I mean, we can say that much, right? QQQ opening down 1%, while SPY opens down a small amount. I mean, that's not a bullish sign. We can say that much, all right? Now, how bearish is it? I don't know. Let's check our news real quick. It is Monday morning. This is the beginning of earnings season, by the way. Banks will be reporting this week along with various other companies. The big name companies are really next week and the week after. That's what I would call like the heart of earnings, the second and the third week of earnings season. First week of earnings season is generally the banks, right? But this is where it begins. So the big banks will all be reporting this week. Something to keep in mind, all right? Earnings season, generally bullish for the market. Generally, all right? I'd say, 3 out of 4 times, 4 out of 5 times, earnings season winds up being a bullish event for the market, at least for the last few years, all right? So let's just check the top stories. We know there's Iran, U.S. and Iran traded airstrikes over the weekend. If you've listened to me at all, my play on Iran, if you really wanted to play it, would be long oil. Buy USO. Look to sell it at the 125 area, USO, right? That's been a resistance level before. That's your winning target. Maybe a losing exit of 105 in USO, especially after the jump this morning, which brings it up to 112. So if you wanted to enter that this morning, you could have 105 as a downside exit, 125 as a winning exit, but that play is going to take at least a couple of weeks. I mean, if you're buying options, you don't want them to expire this week. Maybe they expire next week, right? And that's not my cup of tea. I'm a day trader, so I'm not going to be playing it. But if you really want to play the Iran stuff, I do think long USO is the way. Graham dies at 71. That is a big news story, although I don't think it affects markets particularly. Apple sued OpenAI, alleging stealing secrets at every level. Okay. That's not good. That's not good for the market. I mean, OpenAI was supposed to do their IPO. Looks like they might be delaying it. Apple suing them certainly isn't going to help. Job market jungle. Let go Amazon employees. Amazon laying people off. All right, not good. No signature required. The bipartisan housing bill passed. Also, some of my friends are telling me that the Kospi, the South Korean index, is down, I don't know, something like 8% or something today. Again, you're seeing some nasty bearish signs out there, right? But on the other hand, you have this force of earnings season that's pulling upward while you have sort of all these fundamentals and other stories pulling downward. If you look at the 6-month chart, which I keep up here, again, I mentioned this before, if you draw a trend line from the top back in early June to the next top in mid-June to where we are right now, you get kind of a nice trend line going downward, although at this point, it does seem like we are breaking above the trend line. I mean, the trend line would go straight down like this, and it looks like we're breaking above it. Now, any break above a trend line that only lasts one day or one tick on one candle on a chart, I don't really trust. So this break right here, let's see if it holds, right? If we're going to move lower, it would have to come soon, right? If we're going to keep this trend line alive, the down move really has to come like today or tomorrow, all right? We got to get back below this trend line if we're heading lower. Because if we stay above this trend line and we're going into earnings season, it would strike me that we're now setting up for sort of a move higher, a leg higher during earnings season, all right? So if we were to move higher today and close higher than yesterday, I'd be leaning a lot more bullish over the next 2-3 weeks personally. That would be my take on things, just from a technical perspective. All right. So, do I see any trades immediately? No, not really. I mean, we've gone up from the open 1 point on SPY. QQQ continues to slide though. Interesting. So SPY is up about 1 point from where we opened right here. QQQ is down about a point. Let's switch to QQQ. It's all the way down here. QQQ opened about here, and it's now down a point down here. So, again, continuing to see divergence in the two major indexes. I will say, again, if you're like a super savvy trader, you know, if you are, you could always actually short SPY, get long QQQ, and hope for them to converge at some point. Although if you had done that at the opening bell, you'd be wrong on both trades. So I'm not recommending that. I don't try to do fancy arbitrage trades like that. But hey, you know, I do think the indexes do tend to converge by the end of the day. But, you know, Thursday and Friday, they maintained a pretty healthy distance between one another. So, yeah, they could keep diverging throughout the day. I tend to focus on SPY personally. If you were going to trade, if you were going to pick a second financial instrument to trade other than SPY, for me, it would be QQQ. I think it's probably the second most actively traded security behind SPY, I would assume. Maybe NVIDIA, maybe Apple are up there with it, but I think QQQ is probably second in terms of volume. SPY is clearly the most traded security in the market. So it's part of the reason why I like it. It's the broadest indicator, cheapest spreads, and most importantly, I do think all of the other stocks in the stock market to some extent are influenced by the movement in SPY. So if you're going to trade one stock, one underlying, I think SPY is sort of the way to go. So that's why I trade SPY. I trade it via future contracts. I like futures better than options personally for a number of reasons. They're cheaper, number one. They don't have any theta involved with them. You don't have to worry about volatility. They didn't have the PDT rule previously, but now options don't have the PDT rule. So, you know, the debate between options versus futures is a little more relevant now that the PDT rule is gone. All right. Let me just take care of a couple of technical things here on my end. Just the stream. I want to change the thumbnail on it. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. What is today? Monday. July 13th. Monday. Okay, so I'm throwing the stream title up as Monday live day trading, Monday, July 13th. I mean, can't get any more basic than that. I don't really have time to think of a clever title, to tell you the truth. I do want to focus on the markets. So at the end of last week, I have to say, first of all, do I see anything tradable right now? No, not yet. I'm waiting for a morning range to be established. I'm obviously, like I said, because of the action in QQQ, I would be more bearish here than bullish. I mean, definitely. What is a level that we would need to break below for me to get? I mean, we break below 752 in SPY. That would sort of indicate a short. Pre-market action in SPY bottomed at 752. So you can see this is pre-market SPY. This is 752, right where my cursor is. So pre-market action had some, a pretty good little resistance level at 752. Although we did have a few candles that went down to 751.5. So you're looking at, if you want to get short, to make a play for me personally, you always need to break a level or touch a level. You can't just sort of willy-nilly put a play on short or long, like just pop into my head. Okay, here I go. I'm going to get short. I'm going to get long right here because I feel like it. Truth is, I used to trade like that, and I just don't like it anymore. I think you need confirmation from the market, and confirmation looks like a level break or a level touch, something, some sort of resistance level, some sort of significant level that we touch or we break to signal now's the time to get in, all right? A setup, basically. A setup, a technical setup. So, yeah, I'd be leaning towards short this morning, and I'd want to break below 752 to do it. 751.5. Do I even want to wait for 751.5? Probably not, but I also want to be a little bit more. I want to take it a little easy this morning. I wasn't trading well at the end of last week. I had a good first 2 days last week, up $100 both days. Then I had a Wednesday where I was like down $25. It was more or less break even. And then Thursday, I think I was down $65. And then Friday, I was down $130. Clear pattern there, right? Every day last week got a little worse. So in hindsight, I even sort of remember there was a trade on Wednesday last week where I was distracted. I was dealing with the plumber at my house, and my kids were calling me, and I had set up a long play. I remember it fairly well. We had broken above 749. I had gotten long. My out was 752, and I had said so on the stream numerous times. And for whatever reason, because I was distracted, I was running around, I was doing this, I wound up exiting the play sloppy, maybe at like 750, then getting back in, and then exiting it again at 751. The windup is it was a play that I should have made like $150 on, and I wound up making like $60 on it. And that trade on Wednesday morning, since that trade, I didn't feel right the entire rest of it's weird how it does that. It'll do that. It'll sneak up on you. One bad trade, and all of a sudden, you're just a little off balance. And, I don't think I ever fully recalibrated after that trade. So I'm a little bit wary this morning of my own mental where I'm at. Trading like shit at the end of last week. Never felt like I had a good feel for things last week at the end of the week. So I want to make sure I'm cool today. I'm glad that the market is slow right now. So we haven't even, there's nothing to trade in here as far as I'm concerned. And I'm glad because it's given me a chance to get a read on things, to settle in. I don't want to have that same feeling that I had at the end of last week of sort of just flopping around, not feeling confident in what I'm seeing, placing trades that, I just felt low conviction to me. All right. So if we break below 752 here, what becomes our out? If we look at a longer term chart, this one's a multi-day chart of SPY. This is basically the trading for the last couple of weeks. We break below 752. 750 obviously becomes sort of an out. Although, 750 is right where my cursor is. It hasn't shown itself to be kind of a clean level, oddly enough. You don't see much bouncing off of 750 here. If you look at like a 2-week chart, you see a lot of spots that come close to touching it, but not a lot of actual touches on 750. A little weird. You see here and here and here, and then you see over here, they all come like close to touching 750, but none of them really do. A little odd. Just something to keep in mind. Look, 750 is the next liquidity level. If we break below 752, 750 is just the obvious out. If you're not being greedy. If you want to make a run at 748, I wouldn't knock that. Doesn't matter though. We're at 753 right now. We have not broken below 752, so we don't have to be in a rush. Now, if we break above 754, this would be an upside play. If we break above 754, that's, for me, would be a much trickier trade. I don't know if you'd want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure how cool that trade looks. We break above 754. Highs from last week are 755. So you got to think 755 would be in a resistance level. So we break above 754, you're kind of immediately running into a wall at 755. Are you hoping for a run to 760 today? I think never rule anything out. It's possible. You never quite know what markets want to do. So I wouldn't rule out a run to 760 today. I'd want more confirmation than breaking above 754. In fact, if we break above 755, I think I'd be a lot more interested in getting long. Yeah, personally. I'd want to see a break above 755, not 754. 754 just wouldn't be a signal to me. Plus the red-green line, where SPY flips from red to the day to green for the day is at basically 755. Yeah, almost exactly 755. So, yeah, I think 755 on the upside is a lot more significant of a level today. So yeah, so those are my two levels right now. That's my top and my bottom. A break above 755, a break below 752. We're hanging out in the middle right now. But yeah, those would be where I'm looking to make a play. Let's think about what I would consider the more likely of the two. 752. We break below 752. Now, do I want to get in like immediately? Like 751.8? Do I want to hop in immediately? Or do I want to wait for a little bit of a stronger confirmation, say 751.5? I mean, if 750 is our exit, and I am going to say 750 would be my exit. I'm not going to try and stretch it out to 748. Personally, it would be a 750 exit for me. I think you could try and stretch it out to 748. I just personally not sure I'd be feeling that. Why? Why? I mean, you've got QQQ down 11 points now. I mean, it's continuing to chug lower. Why not think you could get a 4-point down move in SPY? You could. You definitely could. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't feel that. I don't know. I wouldn't feel that strongly about it. I just wouldn't feel. Anyway, I'm getting ready here. We're at 752.1. $752.08. Do I want to get in now? I like this candle here, but we'll probably have a bounce back from this candle. Yeah. If we start rocking and rolling, though. So I'm getting prepared to enter this. We never really broke below 752 yet. Now we're getting a small bounce back, which is good. This is healthy. I mean, this is what you would expect to see. A little bounce off 752. It makes it easier to short it when we do break below it. Getting a little pushback at the level is a good thing. You know, it helps the level look more clearly defined. Okay, I'm going to put a sell stop in. Let's see. 0.91 is right here, so let's just do 0.88, 0.25. All right, so I put a sell stop in there. Do I like where I set it? One tick lower, maybe. Or do I want to do it higher? Or do I want to do it lower? Where do I really want to set my entry? Tough call, tough call. What I want is to enter the trade right as it's sort of gathering steam and moving lower so that I catch it without it bouncing back. But I don't want to enter too soon. Like if I had entered right here and now we have this bounce back, that bounce back might have forced me out of the trade. So I want to catch it at the point where it's sort of where the ball gets rolling. But then again, the lower you go, the more you sort of hunt for the ball rolling, the more you're giving up in potential profit. So I do have a general rule, though, of trying my best to not get greedy on these plays. Not get greedy on them. Try to play them. You should value risk management over how much profit you're going to make. You know, protecting your bankroll is more important than growing it. Theoretically, but, you know, even that has caveats attached to it because, you know, it can get to the point where you're being so protective that now you're trading scared. You know, you don't want to trade scared. That's not good. Trading scared is, you know, FOMO is the easiest way to lose, obviously, and the way most of us lose, if we're being honest, right? FOMO trades are what kill us, you know, 9 times out of 10. But there is the other side of that coin, and that's trading scared, which is cutting your winners off too early, maybe setting your entries a little less aggressively than you should. Like right here, this is a very conservative entry. I've set my entry at 151.6. I mean, that's pretty conservative. I mean, I could set it 20 cents higher. I could set it 30 cents higher. I really am impacting the profit I would make on this trade with this really rather conservative. In fact, it's a bit too conservative for me. I think down here, move it up just a few ticks. But if I'm going to do that... I'm glad this one isn't putting me to the fire yet. I really am. What I'm afraid is going to happen is exactly what I said earlier. We're going to take a leg lower. We're going to grab my sell stop order, which is going to make me short one contract. So I'm going to be short. And as soon as we touch it and as soon as I get short, we're going to see another bounce just like the one we're having right now, which at this point clearly would have knocked me out of the trade. You know, this is, you know, if we're moving a point in the wrong direction, it's very rare that I have my exit set more than a point away from where I'm entering, unless it's a trade where I'm trying to pick up 4 or 5 points, you know. All depends on the risk reward, but rarely do I have a losing exit set more than a point away from where I entered. And we are now at 753.3, so we are almost a point and a half above where I might have entered this trade. I would definitely be out of it by now. Really healthy bounce here. It's almost 10 a.m. on the nose. Kind of getting your V shape, your morning V here, you know. A little up move off the bell right here. Down, up. So the morning V, the bottom is clearly 752. The top is 754. But again, on the upside, since we're floating upward, I don't like 754 as an entry. I think 755 is more significant. 755 was a top last week. 755 is where SPY would flip from red for the day to green for the day. So I think 755 is a more significant level. I would not enter if we break above 754. I'd want us to make a run to 755. We're at 754. You know, at moments like this, though, you know, this is why it's good not to get married to a bullish or a bearish thesis, right? It would have been pretty easy for me to get married to a bearish thesis this morning, saying, you know, QQQ is down. It was down 12 points just a few minutes ago. We got that shit in Iran going on. South Korea's down a bunch. This is a bearish morning. But if I had gotten, you know, married to that, I probably would have shorted it down here. And right now I'd be losing money. So just wait for the chart to confirm your thesis before you get in there, all right? That's all. You can have your thesis, you can have your idea. Wait for the chart to show you that it's working with you at least a little bit, right? Second in, first out. Try to be the second guy into a trade, the first guy out of it. And by being the second guy in, I mean wait for the chart to confirm your idea, right? You don't want to be the first guy into the trade. You don't want to be the guy that picks the top or picks the bottom. You want to be the guy that waits for the market to say, your thesis has some juice to it, you know? The chart is telling you it's looking good. Second in, first out. First out means take your winning exits early. Personally, that's how I trade. You know, this is where that like over defensiveness can be a bad thing. It's a thin line between you got to know what you really think your winning out is, okay? I almost always have a winning out in mind when I enter a trade, and it's usually a defensive out to some extent. It's usually I'm not going for home runs here. I like to hit singles and doubles. Now, there are times where I genuinely think the market will move 4 or 5 points and I can pick that up. I think I had like 1 or 2 trades last week where I genuinely thought I could pick up 3, 4, 5 points on a trade. In those cases, you should set your out at that 3, 4, 5 point level. You should set it where you actually think the market is going to go. But in my experience, where I think the market is actually going to go is not quite as far as people normally think, right? So if we were to break below 752, I would think most people would start thinking, well, maybe we'll go down to 748, or maybe we'll even go down to 745. I find that that's wishful thinking. You have to separate wishful thinking on a trade versus what you actually think and know from your experience tends to happen. What tends to happen in my experience is the market breaks a level, it tends to move rather quickly to the next resistance level and then stop and then get a pullback. And then who knows what happens from there. But generally, you're not going to make a good straight run fast in one direction. You're going to make a run to the next resistance, the next liquidity node, and that's where the move's going to stop. So, so I try to set my winning out. I try to differentiate between what I hope it's going to do versus what, in my experience, it actually does, right? And what it actually does is usually move a lot less than the wishful thinking exit, okay? With that said, again, there are times where I genuinely believe the market will run 3 or 4 points, and that's when I do set my out 3 or 4 points lower. But generally, I'm looking for singles and doubles. I'm looking for 1 to 2 point trades, not 3 or 4 point trades. And honestly, if the market was crashing, if we had a panic sell-off, maybe I'd try and pick up 8 points, you know? It's just rare, very rare. Try to stick to the singles and doubles. The realistic sort of high probability plays that you tend to see day to day. You know, day to day, you see a lot of choppy action. You see the market break through a level, it goes to the next resistance level, a couple of points lower, and then it bounces. That's what you tend to see. You don't tend to see it breaks a level, it goes straight down 8 points. You know? So you kind of got to play the odds in that regard. Plumber's supposed to come again today, by the way. Let me check my phone. I don't know where he is. Had a pipe burst in the house. Super excited about that. All right, best not to think about that. All right, 10:05 a.m. The other thing I said I was going to work on this week was staying in the chair when I'm trading well and getting up quicker when I'm trading like shit. I've been pretty good lately about getting up when I'm trading like shit, getting away from the computer when I'm tilted. I've also been very good about getting up from the chair and leaving the trading desk when I'm trading really well. I've found plenty of excuses to get up quite quickly when I'm winning. And I think that's a confidence thing, you know. I get up $100, maybe $200, and I just want to hold on to that feeling, you know, the winning feeling. I just want to keep it, so I'll find an excuse to sort of slink away and do something else. I have to reverse that. I have to start staying in the chair when I'm positive, when I'm up, getting up out of the chair when I'm negative. Your emotions are always going to tell you differently. I mean, if you've read Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, you know, a large portion of his writing is dedicated to the bizarre, you know, backwardsness of the emotional poles. How when you're up, you want to quit, and when you're losing, you want to chase. That is just the natural human. It's the way we're built, I guess. I don't know. But reversing that, having the discipline and the awareness, the self-awareness to do the opposite, I think is a big part of the winning formula of any trader. Very difficult to do, but knowing to stick around when things are going well, stepping away when things are going poorly, mastering that, I think, brings a person a lot closer to profitability. So I'm going to be working on that this week. I've got a little whiteboard here next to my desk. Keep my trading ideas on there. I'm going to write that idea down. Again, we're still in this range here. We haven't broken out. We're in between SPY 752, 754. QQQ is down 10 points. Bitcoin, nothing to talk about. USO. Again, that would be my Iran trade. If you want to make an Iran trade, get long USO. Winning exit 125. It's going to take a couple weeks, though. USO is up to 112, up 3 points. Makes sense with some hostilities in the Gulf this weekend. But I day trade SPY, and as long as we're in this range here, there's nothing to trade in this range. Unless you want to be a superstar and short it at the tops, get long at the bottoms. I do not recommend doing that. Every once in a while, I try it. Mean reversion trades, whatever you want to call them. Channel surfing, I don't know. They don't work, in my opinion. But every once in a while, I do get the bright idea to try that. But I'm not going to do that now. I still have that random sell stop order hanging out down here. I should probably put a little exit in there, a take profit, in case we have some bust through move lower that goes down 3 points and then immediately bounces back up. That happened to me on Friday. That was an upsetting trade. We had a big candle lower. I had the trade all planned out in my head. I had said it on the stream numerous times. When we break this level, I'm going to get short, and here is my exit. We broke through the level. I got short. Immediately went to my exit within about 15 seconds, and then immediately bounced back. I didn't even have time to put the exit order in. Missed it. Wound up being a rather large losing trade in the end. Where if I had just set my winning out beforehand, we would have grabbed it. Although the downside of that is, nah. I mean, if I don't put any winning exit in there, if we start sinking and we go down 10 points, I catch the whole thing. That's very unlikely, though. Where would I set it here? 15 points below where we are, so that would be 72.5. All right. So I set my winner here at 750 SPY in case we just want to do a nosedive downward. Don't want to get caught with one of those again without an exit like I did on Friday. All right, here. Well, this is, I hope you're not trading this, by the way. Or if you are, I hope you found some instrument other than the broader market that's doing something. Because this is not good. This is just chop, 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 chop. Nothing to like about this right now. Nothing to like about this at 10:15 a.m. Yeah, maybe you are trading semis or commodities or oh, look, we just grabbed it. Just grabbed my out, just like that. And I'm glad I set my buy. Okay, just no, you touched it. Wait, you did touch it. You should have touched it. You did touch it. Why didn't it fucking touch it? It was so close. Are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? It was 2 ticks away. It was 2 ticks away. Oh, come on. Dude. 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 Come on. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. I set the out specifically to avoid fucking that scenario. No. Give me the fucking out. Give me the out. Give me the out. Give me the fucking out, you son of a... No. I did this right. This is really gonna fuck me up if I don't catch this. God damn it. Are you serious? And I didn't catch the fucking second fucking... No. Dude. Now I just want out. Just get me out of this. Get me out. Take the fucking out. It's right there. Take the out. Take the fucking out. Did you see that? I had my out set to right here. Right here. It came right. I literally set the out just 5 minutes ago for this exact scenario in case we wanted to spike lower. If I had set the out just a couple ticks higher. I fucking hate trading. I hate trading. Fucking hate trading. I really do. Shit like this, just unfucking real. Fucking out. I'm out. Unreal. Minus 350. Lost $3.50 on that play. I wish I had instant replay. I really do. That was just... I set my entry right here. And then I literally thought about it again. And I said, let me set my winning out. So that if we have a spike lower, I don't get fucked. I'll actually catch the spike lower. I set the winning out right here. Right here. We came just... we came like 3 or 4 ticks away from it. Then bounced back. And I wind up losing $3 on the trade. Fuck that. Fuck that. Boy, that's upsetting. You have the right idea, you set it up the right way, and then bam, it just fucking... it just comes 3 or 4 ticks away from where you're supposed to exit, and then it stops. Okay. Not what I wanted to see to start the week, honestly. Not what I wanted my first trade. If it had just touched my... oh, God. It would have been so pretty. And then I don't even want to relive it. I don't even want to relive it. Fuck it. Fuck it. All right, now am I going to get short here? I did get short here. I'm going to try and do it like a regular play. Although I'm hesitant now because I tried this exact same move on Friday. This exact same thing played out on Friday. And I tried to play it again after the initial drop, hoping that it traced back, and it never did. Yeah, it never traced back on Friday. But the thesis is you break below 752, you play it down to 750. Now, did this count? What happened right there? Maybe it did, and maybe the play is over. So I'm sort of making the same mistake I made on Friday. I'm not going to give it a ton of space, Still, I'm risking $30 on it. Nope, this isn't going to work out. Okay. All right. Fuck it. All right. We're done with that. Whatever that was. Boy, that sucked. Let's look at what it did on Friday. So, here is Friday's spike lower. This is what happened Friday. We had the spike lower, drifted higher, and then chopped around for the next 2 hours, and then it turned into sort of a slow grind higher for the rest of the day. So basically, after on Friday, when we had a candle like this lower, what it turned into was a slow grind higher for the rest of the day. This was almost like a sweep, an accumulation, a stop hunt. People who are long, forces them out, hits their stops. People like me who were sort of looking to get short, maybe it gets them in there like it did, even though I had an exit set basically at the bottom of this and it just never touched it. That one's a little upsetting. Anyway, after this pattern happened on Friday, what we saw after that was just for the rest of the day a slow grind higher. If you want to use Friday as an indication of what might happen today, I'm not sure if it is. Boy, that's disappointing. This was a $75 profit. All it had to do was go a couple more ticks down. Unreal. Unreal. Okay. All right. Motherfuckers. That's the way you want to do it. Anyway, when it happened on Friday, this was like I said, it was like a stop hunt. It was a clear out move before the market just marched higher for the rest of the day. Very slowly, very grindy move higher for the rest of the day. I'm going to get a little air for a second. Yeah, clearing my head a little bit. That is what I would call a bad beat. If I was playing poker, before I started trading 12 years ago, before that, I played poker professionally during the poker boom back in 2006. I was pretty good at that, but so I do tend to make a lot of poker analogies. That was a bad beat. That was a bad beat. That's one where if I had been sitting at a poker table, I would have thrown my cards in the muck and walked away with a pissed off face. Gone for a walk. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I mean, to set the entry, to have it grab your entry, to have your out already set right here, and to not to miss it by like 10 cents in SPY. I mean, it was a $75 win. I mean, that would have been a nice pickup. And then even after that, I moved my out up to here. I should have caught this like second candle downward. And I don't know why, but then I moved it back down. I was like trying to decide where I wanted to have my out since we had just missed it. I mean, I don't really blame myself too much there. I didn't know if I should exit here or here. I mean, that was just, it was just a weird spot to be in. Tough call to make, so. But still, I had set it up here. I could have caught this second candle, at least gotten out for like a $40 or a $50 profit. Instead, I moved it back down. We went all the way back up. Wind up losing $3 on the trade. Really lost $37 on the trade, if I'm honest, because I re-entered it. The same thing I did on Friday, thinking, you know what, it was a fast move down. Maybe the move will play out at normal speed, because we broke below the level I wanted. 752 was a level. We broke below it. My original plan was we break below 752. Let's try to get to 750. But I don't know. This is an unusual I mean, you don't see this very often. You did see it on Friday, and now you've seen it 2 days in a row. But you don't see it very often where you break the level in all of 1 minute, go down to your target exit in 1 minute, and then bounce all the way back up. I mean, it's not exactly something you make a plan for usually. Whatever. So now again, I'm going to be faced with the same decision here. Looks like we're about to break below 752. Do I want to try and do the same play again? Same thesis. We break below 752. Do we go down to 750? But this kind of fucks it up, If this didn't exist and we break below 752, the thesis is still intact. This makes it a much weirder decision. Is that thesis still intact after we've sort of already done it? I mean, we already did the move that I thought was going to happen, except we did it in 10 times speed, So is the play still there? Do you get a second bite at it? I don't know. Again, this is rare. You don't tend to see this. And what it looks like to me, again, is stop hunting. It looks like algo bullshit. Algos breaking lower to clear out bulls who have their stops down here. Maybe catch some bears like me who have entries down here. Then you can bounce in their face. It just looks like an algo sweep. They sweep out the liquidity down here both ways. Bounce it back, take our money. do you make the play again? I don't know. One thing I like, if I were to make the play again, I do like that we've got some lower highs here, right? I mean, this high right here is about the same as the previous one. Then you got a lower high, a little bit of a lower high. So the lower highs make me think. And I mean, if you count this, I guess we've got lower lows, sort of. I mean, this low is certainly lower than this low. So maybe we've got kind of a downward trend here. Maybe. Is it worth it? Trying it again? I'll try it one more time. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. But I'm telling you, if this one doesn't work, I'm done with this shit. I'm not going to get chewed up by the algos today. If they're going to be playing games, fuck that. All right, 750 is our target. We'll put our winning exit right where the other play, right where the down move stopped, which is 750.3, I believe. 750.3, yeah. Looks like 750.3. Our losing, our invalidation exit, our losing exit. I guess we have to keep it where it is right now, which would be a higher high. That would invalidate it, unless I want to just get out fast. Yeah, I do want to get out faster, actually. I'm going to move it down to here. Yeah. I'm going to look for a little momentum going lower, all right? I don't... No, that exit is kind of weak. That exit is weak. I think I have to keep my exit at a real invalidation level, which would be... Yeah, which would be a higher high. Yeah, I'm going to have to keep it where it is for now, which makes it a 1-to-1 trade, which kind of sucks. 1-to-1 trades are generally not... When I entered it, I didn't really think it would be precisely 1-to-1, and it is. So the bottom, from where I entered, the bottom of the dip is equidistant to a higher high, which is what I would consider an invalidation at this point. And to be honest, I don't expect this move down to 750 to be clean. I mean, it's looking clean right now, which I like, but I don't expect it to be, you know, a 5-minute play. I think I might be in this one for an hour. Hopefully not, but maybe. So, in other words, it's not a momentum play. I'm not seeing this as a momentum play. I'm seeing it as sort of a grindy play lower, because we've got lower highs, lower lows. It looks like maybe there's some selling pressure. So I'd love for it to be a momentum play lower. Love. Please, just let me get the fucking... Let me just get the target and take the money and run. He's all excited. He wants to take his money and run. No, you don't let him do that. Why? Because that would make it real. You have another brilliant idea. Another stock to invest his winnings and then some. And they will, because they're fucking addicted. Every single time. We're making cold hard cash via commissions, baby. Oh. McConaughey kills it. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Honestly, a little too long of a movie, in my opinion. I mean, what is it, like 2.5 hours? Little on the long side. Maybe a lot on the long side, frankly. But there are moments in it that make it worth it. Mainly the McConaughey scenes. Uh-huh. 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 All right, we're at 7:51 here. I would expect the bounce to commence here at 7:51. Now, what do we bounce to? What invalidates the trade here? If we bounce to what? Keeping in mind that I said this is not a momentum play. Now, if it was a momentum play where I expect us, we're just showing momentum, we're going to go right to my out, the market is moving. If it was a momentum play, I could move my invalidation exit down to here, because if we break above here, the momentum would be gone. But it's not that play. If anything, my invalidation level up here, I'm afraid is a little too low, and maybe I should move it a couple ticks higher. I move it a couple ticks higher, I'm now actually have a trade that's less than 1-to-1. I'm risking $80 to win 77. Not the way you want to be, honestly. But frankly, if I'm being honest, I think that this is where the trade thesis is genuinely invalidated. Where the idea of us grinding lower after the 752 break is beat up. Yep, all right. We're bouncing off 751. Not unexpected. It's just... how far are we going to bounce? Really want to win this trade. I do. Because if I lose this trade, I'm really going to, after this disaster of just missing my out, am I making this play here because I'm chasing? I mean, honestly, when we broke below 752 again here, when I entered the trade, I think it was a good trade. I do. I think it looks like we're sort of grinding a little lower here. I don't particularly have a problem with the trade, but I can't exactly rule out that maybe I made it as a chase move. And if I lose on the trade, it'll kind of confirm the idea that maybe I was chasing, and that's going to mean I should probably step away. I mean, if I lose this trade, I'm going to be down $120 for the day, just like that, when I should be up $75 by all rights, in my mind. And I'll have lost one particularly nasty trade and a second trade that is a questionable entry, maybe. Anyway, it'll just be, if I lose this trade, I'm going to have to step away. Just as a matter of discipline. I got to make sure my head's on right. And yeah, that's all it comes down to. It does look like a little grindy move lower, though. I don't disagree with that thesis. That was the original thesis. It's just that this candle messes things up. Fuck it. Anyway. Plus, if we hit up here, it'll just tell me that the algos are still sort of in control the way they were at the end of last week. That the patterns that I'm normally relying on, normal buying and selling, it looks like what's happening is more of just game theory sort of algos hitting psychological points to catch traders in bad spots, in which case you don't really want to mess around with them when they're doing that, because they're really good at it. All right, I think I can move my invalidation exit a bit lower here after this down. Can I? Where would I move it? Here? No, I mean, that just wouldn't be worth it. I mean, I could theoretically move it down to here. That's like 8 ticks lower. We're talking about $12. Do I want to move my invalidation, my losing exit, lower to save $12? I don't think moving it would be worth it. I mean, unless I move it down to here at the top of this bounce. If we were to move a little lower down to here, I would feel much better about moving my invalidation exit down to here. The top of this bounce. I'd love to see just a little bit lower. If we get to like right here, I will move my losing exit down to like here. Take some risk off. But I don't want to do it quite yet. I mean, I just don't want to do it quite yet because we might still be like, this bounce may still be going and we might bounce up to here and then come down. For some reason, I think if we move down to here, then a bounce back to here would be a very bad sign. Whereas right now, if we were to bounce back to here right now, it'd be less threatening than if we were to move lower and then bounce back up to here. That's just my read on it. Like if we go back down to 751 and that presents resistance again, then I'm going to be a little more scared of a bounce. If that makes any sense. It's about to be 11 a.m. Witching hour. Yeah, it's 10:57. Often at 11, you can get a shift in market tone. So far, the tone has been choppy with maybe a slightly bearish tilt to it. If we look at QQQ, this is QQQ today. Choppy down move, but since that down move, since 10 for the last hour, it's kind of been creeping higher. QQQ, okay. Okay. I'd kind of like QQQ not to break above 718 because that's its daily high right now. If QQQ breaks above 718, I think that would be a bit of a bullish sign. Certainly not good for my position. God, this is just more algo choppy bullshit, isn't it? Yeah, I'm starting to get the distinct feeling that this is just choppy shit and that it's going to go up to right up to here to previous highs, going to knock me out of the trade, then go lower. That is the distinct feeling I'm getting right now. Yeah, but am I just being a pussy? I don't know. gotta try and clear my head. Alright, if I logically think about this. Oh, fuck. It's passing me. It's gonna go up to this high, and then it's gonna reverse, isn't it? Bounced right off that 751 down here. Could have taken 751 as an exit. Bounced right off of it. That should have told me. That should have told me things were bad right there. Bouncing off that 751 without putting up any fight. Bad sign. QQQ breaking above 718. Shit. The algos are definitely on their game here. They are on their game. Biggest mover on my watch list, percent wise, is VIX, actually. VIX is climbing. Up from 15 to 16.15. I guess that makes sense considering QQQ is down 1%. Obviously, I don't like my odds on this trade right now. I don't like this chart pattern in general. Choppy morning, a bullshit move lower, which was immediately rebounded from. Then a sharp downward move, probably to catch people who got bullish on this. Broke right below the 752 level down here. I mean, that's the point where you would rope bears in, right? So you break lower, you get the bears in, now you bounce higher. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that the institutions and the algos, it just feels like they're gaming it right now. They're gaming the market, and they're hitting the psychological points to get people in there and then whipsaw them. probably 792.25. I'm going to take a small loss on this trade, I think. Yeah, I hate to be a puss. I'm just. Yeah. This is why I don't play grinding moves. Grinding moves, you got to deal with pullbacks, which make them difficult. Fuck you. Sloppy exit. Lost $35 on that trade. I tried to set an exit right here to only lose $15 on it. There you go. That would have been my $15 exit. That's what I'm talking about. We're just chucking around. This is QQQ. Broke above 718, but now we're moving lower. Again, you break above 718, you're probably getting some people long in there, right? Breaking above the levels that mean something. Now you're pulling back. Just seeing a lot of moves like that. A lot of moves that are fuck around moves, just trappy moves. Trappy moves. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know if people I know a lot of people don't feel the same way about it, but I feel pretty strongly that the market is algo dominated. You know, they say it's like 80% algos by volume trading. And they're out there to make money. And they're using game theory to do so, you know? They don't care about the news. They don't care about the fundamentals. You know, they care about the chart, the ticks, the price action, you know, their entries and their exits and their stops and their, you know, they're trying to, and there's thousands of algos, hundreds of thousands probably, competing against one another, all trying to outgame each other. So you have certain days, I think, where it looks like it's just like algos sort of battling one another, and humans get caught in the crossfire. Like with this move. Boom. I mean, went right down. I mean, just a few ticks away from where I would have profited from it. My whole day would look completely different if it had just moved 10 cents lower. To me, that's like the algos. They almost know where most traders have their exits set and dodged it. They dodged it. Made sure that they weren't going to pay off people who are bearish and had their exit down here. I mean, I don't think this is like conspiracy theory stuff at all. I think this is just the way the market works. You get days when you have institutional buyers and human buyers sort of dominating the trading. And then you have days where you just have algos battling one another. And those are the choppy whipsaw days. And this is looking whipsaw, very whipsawy. You got lower highs here, right? But you're getting higher highs on the bottom now. So you've almost got like a flag forming here. But you're getting mixed signals. Lower highs, but higher lows. Which one's the right one? Which one's the true signal? Maybe neither. We opened at 752. We're still at 752. Always a bad sign. Again, another bad sign. Where it's 11:13 a.m. and we're at where we started the day. That's not good, you know. With a ton of chop to get there, by the way. We're positive above where we opened, below where we opened, above where we opened, below where we opened, above where we opened. All around this 752 level. Clearly the important number for the day. So I will say one thing I see. If we're like pegged 752, usually when we have a peg like that, we go up and down below it, give or take 1 point, which we are doing. You've got a bottom down here at 751, a top up here at 753. So we're moving 1 point in either direction around 752. So I joked about it earlier. If you want to try and ride the chop, you can buy down here and you can short up here. Now I'm starting to seriously consider it. I never win on those plays. Why am I even thinking about it? I never win on those plays. Why am I even thinking about it? Hmm. Yeah, I don't like what I see here. I mean, I wish I wish I could say I see some sort of trade. I mean, we're at 752. That's been the center of everything all day. We're still there. You know, traders need directional movement to be profitable, and I'm not seeing any direction here. Again, lower highs, higher lows. Yeah, I think you have to accept that this might be a little bit of a boring stretch here. Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully something happens, but it's 11:18 a.m. We're going to be entering the lunch hour soon. Market has shown really nothing but choppy whipsaw shit so far. All right. Well, I'm going to take a little break, I guess. Yeah, I don't like anything I see right here right now. It looks like we're pegged at 752. That is the center of gravity. I mean, you make a note of that. Maybe it's important later. But right now, we've just been centered on it, just shopping above and below it. I mean, this is the way it is sometimes. LW, LW, a lot of wrong, a lot of waiting. That's trading. You're going to be wrong a lot. You're going to be waiting a lot. This is best just to wait for now. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Just wait. Wait for something better than this. All right. I'll come back when there's something interesting occurring. Hopefully soon. Good luck. turn affects my performance. Nothing good here. Nothing good here. This is obviously not the best trading opportunity I've ever seen. So yeah. Look, it just is what it is, you know. Some days, and look, stuff could happen later in the day, but right now this is not, it's not tradable. There's no setup here. There's no directional bias in the market as far as I can tell. We opened at 752. We're still at 752. QQQ opened down 8 points, whatever. Even it is back to where it opened. So, you know, the whole move in QQQ happened overnight, not during the trading day. So we're seeing nothing here worth trading. Yeah, I wish there was I don't know. We break below 752. You want to try and ride it to 750? I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to even recommend that. I really wouldn't. Because the move could stop at 751. We could bounce back up to 753. We could go to 753, come back down to 752. It just looks like we're just centering on this 752 number right now for whatever reason. I mean, if you want something to look forward to, you could say that this is sort of a flag pattern. You got the lower highs, you've got the higher lows. They're sort of converging right now. And maybe the direction that we break is the direction that we head in. Maybe with some momentum, perhaps. Yeah, maybe we're converging on this flag for a reason, and when it breaks, it'll break with some strength. Wishful thinking, honestly, it could happen. It's just, you know, that would definitely be something we would hope would happen, but I can't really count on it. You know, maybe the market's just kind of freezing up because earnings season is incoming. Banks are reporting this week. Probably get the big ones on Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe the market doesn't want to move too much until they report. I have to think the banks are going to have a good quarter. With all the volatility that there was in market, their trading desks certainly did well this quarter. At least oil's moving higher. You got that trade. Yeah. I wish I wasn't so doggedly committed to my day trading routine and I was actually just holding USO. Much rather be in that trade than whatever this shit is right now. Yeah. I think it's hard to make a play here. You break below 752. We break lower here now. Can you really trust it? Especially it's entering lunch hour now. It's 11:42. It's about to be noon. Noon to 1 o'clock is by far the most common time to get choppy channel bound crap. So, I don't know. Any sort of breakout here, can you trust it? Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'd probably trust a breakout higher more than one lower at this point, considering this disgusting thing that ruined my day. Yeah. So yeah, not much to look at right now. I'm going to take a break, step away. Sometimes you just got to wait. Got to wait for the market to show itself. That's all it comes down to, you know? Unfortunately, like, I'm streaming. I'd like to make it more interesting if I could. Trades are obviously interesting. Not trading is uninteresting, but I can't force it, you know? Can't make the market give me a setup when it's just not doing that. It is just not giving us a good setup here. Yeah. Hard to think of an uglier chart, to tell you the truth. This is the definition of just choppy nothingness. So yeah, I'd say wait. Wait. You know, it's cliche, but true to a certain extent. You make your money when you're waiting, you know, that's when you really make the money. When you're sitting on your hands. It's the conventional wisdom. It certainly has some truth to it, no doubt about it. You have to be able to wait when conditions are unfavorable, and this is unfavorable here. So, yeah, maybe we break a little lower here. I'd have a hard time trusting it. If we break below 750, that's different. But it's very hard to trust any move lower after this fake out and then this fake out. And 752 does seem to be a center of gravity. We want to keep coming back to it. So yeah, let's wait until the market shows us something a little bit better than this. All right. Good luck, guys.